Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for full moon in Pisces, and this full moon is happening on the 30th or 31st of August, depending on where you are in the world. But we are pretty much feeling each new and full moon a couple of days before and a couple of days after its exact date. And this one is very important because this one is called the blue moon. And the blue moon means that this is the second full moon in 1 month. This is happening every 2 or 3 years. So we have this phenomenon, so to say, like of having 2 full moons in 1 month. Usually we have 1 full moon and 1 new moon each month, but sometimes this is happening too. And we had the first full moon on the 1st of August, and this is the second full moon in the month, and it's happening on the very last day of August, and it's happening in the very last sign of the zodiac, which is Pisces. And this is very sensitive, compassionate, and ego-dissolving full moon because it's happening in Pisces. And it's very good to remember how we felt around the beginning of this month, how we felt around the time of the new moon, which happened around the middle of the month, and what was the theme, how was the month initiated, what were we struggling with, and to see how these energies might culminate during this time. And we may feel vulnerable and overwhelmed pretty much. Full moon is event that is happening when the sun and the moon are opposing each other. So this means that the sun is in the sign of Virgo. We have polarity of Virgo and Pisces, and together they build a whole. And this is, Virgo is earth energy. We have the sun in Virgo, and Pisces is water energy. So this opposition doesn't mean that they are in some kind of enemy relationship, but this means that they can build together if they bring things into balance. We have Pisces chaos and Virgo order. So there needs to be some kind of balance, and not usually going into one extreme at the cost of the other. But this is earth and water. Earth and water together can create life. Earth carries water, and we can shift things, we can shift shapes of certain emotions right now. We can see the shape shifting of our emotional world. And Pisces is not so much water sign as I would say it's somehow kind of out of the story of the zodiac, because it's the last sign and it represents the beginning and ending. Some big cycle is ending and the new one is beginning. We are preparing for something new, for a new chapter, for a new season, for something that is initiating us into a new spiral of our soul's journey. And it's more ethereal sign. Pisces is more ethereal, and it's a lot about a never-ending journey. It's about transcendence. It talks about otherworldly events and situations and experiences. Pisces represents our fantasies, our imagination, our inspiration, meditation, contemplation. It represents isolation as well, and withdrawal, our need to be alone, our need to have some time for ourselves, need to be in silence, to be in solitude, to gain insights, to download some psychic information, to explore the otherworldly, to explore the spiritual realm, to explore the subtle and the subconsciousness. This is our subconscious, and it's also our collective subconscious, Pisces. So we may pick up emotions, feelings, and thoughts from the collective unconscious. So let's be careful of what we can pick up. And that's why we need this science of discernment, which is Virgo, discernment. And we also have Mercury retrograde in Virgo, which is very interesting because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and Mercury is also exalted in the sign of Virgo. So it's very strong right now, being retrograde and opposing the energy of the full moon. and full moon is together with Saturn. Saturn is also retrograde, and it's also in Pisces, and it's right next to this full moon. And it can be a little, we may feel somehow blocked to express ourselves. We may feel emotional blockages, emotional freeze. But this full moon brings things to culmination. It can bring things to a head. It can, bring some kind of emotional flooding, emotional eruptions that can melt down those icebergs of emotional icebergs, so to say. These emotional icebergs are, they're breaking, the ice is breaking, and we may feel like we are sinking and drowning into this vast ocean of the unknown, Pisces. But we have to surrender, we have to trust, we have to let go of some things that we are holding on to strongly, because we are keeping these emotions imprisoned. We don't let them be expressed, we don't let them be transferred and processed. So we are able now to see where are we emotionally frozen, where are we afraid to express our words and our emotions and our feelings. Why are we so afraid? This full moon, it brings to light that which is hidden in the shadows, and it brings to light our subconscious fears, and it brings to light some of our nightmares, because these Pisces archetypes, they rule our dreams, including the good one and the bad ones, including our nightmares and our most beautiful dreams. But they are all just a dream, so we shouldn't be attached to any of those. And this Pisces full moon is teaching us how to not really detach, not to be detached emotionally, but how to be able to, discern what is worth worrying and what is not worth worrying. So we are able also to surrender and to let go, which is not the same as giving up. Some people think that surrendering and giving up is the same. There is a huge difference between this. So surrendering is when we are surrendering to our higher power, to something that we know is higher than our abilities, our capacities, our need to control. So we surrender to something that knows better. We know that there is some higher power. We know that there is something that moves this body. We know that there is the source of this realm that we see around us, this physical realm. And we know that there are many tricks in this realm. So we are discovering those tricks, because this material realm is very tricky and very seductive, and we fall into those attachments very quickly. Again, we identify with things so quickly, and we forget about our true nature. And this is what is happening over and over in these cycles and spirals of our incarnations and reincarnations, our death and rebirth, and our appearance and disappearance and reappearance. So we are able to discover those places, to discover some of those scratches and wounds that are crucial for every trigger that we have. And these triggers will be hugely provoked now. So we are asked to respond in a kind way when we are triggered to respond in a way that is not very kind. You know what I'm saying? So this is like our highest task to achieve now, to respond with kindness instead of responding with anger on some provocations and triggers that we don't like. And Pisces can also be related very much to masochism. So we may see where have we been masochistic, and we may see our masochistic neediness and our addiction to masochism, because Pisces is also about our addictions and where we are escaping reality. Whatever we are escaping will be visible now. We will see things that are invisible will become visible. Things that are intangible become tangible. The veils are thin. Things that are unreachable become reachable. Things that are unknown become known. And some of us may be afraid of those things because some of us are not ready, but this full moon says, ready or not, this is what you have to deal with, this is what you have to confront. And it's pulling it from somewhere deep inside, it's pulling it outside. So these are deep depths, and we have to take them up on the surface. So they are bubbling up, but we may be pushing them down again. But let's not do this. As I said, let's surrender and let's see what this emotional flood has to bring to the shore, so that we can just pick it up, collect it, discern, remove wheat from the chaff, as Virgo does. So this is a never-ending journey. It's like the sound that never ends. The sound that sounds like it's ending, but it's actually never-ending. So this is also our journey. It may seem sometimes that it is ending, but it's almost there, it's almost ending, and then the new melody comes in and it takes us again for a ride, and then we think, oh, it's almost the end, but then again the new tone hits and it changes and it pulls us even deeper and deeper, and it will give us a very clear look of our negative patterns, because we cannot reach the depth until we clean everything on our way. And we may have to do a lot of cleaning and cleansing and healing, because Pisces and Virgo are both a lot about healing and health. Pisces is healing, Virgo is health, if we watch it in this polarity mode. So these are the things that we want to forget and delete. We want to erase them, we want them gone. And these kinds of things may come to us in our dreams too, or people who we don't want to see, people we want to forget, situations we want to forget. These things that we push, that we reject, that we didn't deal with, that we don't want to deal with, will come now, because we have to deal with those things sometimes. And I'm not saying to intentionally provoke these things, but what comes, let it come and deal with it. So and these masochistic addictions will be very important, because they will give us a clue and key towards our source, which is also Pisces, the source. And there is some kind of sacrifice that needs to be done. And the question is, what am I willing to sacrifice now in order to deal with my subconscious fears? And what am I not willing to sacrifice? So it takes guts to forgive without feeling like we did something remarkable. And this full moon is a lot about forgiveness. Pisces is about compassion and forgiveness, and all these highly spiritual and even religious codes that have been installed within us. So forgiveness, and it really takes guts to forgive without feeling like we did something extraordinary. It is extraordinary for ourselves, but if we are somehow proud about it, it's still not working. So we have to forgive from the heart. We have to feel like there is nothing else left but to forgive ourselves, to forgive the bad guys in the world, to forgive evil forces, to forgive mother and father, to forgive ancestors, to forgive whoever, but mostly ourselves, for blaming ourselves, for not being there for ourselves, for everything, for every time we didn't hear ourselves, for every time we didn't follow our intuition. So these kinds of things are very important, and it is much easier to find these blind spots in others and find mistakes in others. Blind spots and weaknesses belong to Pisces archetype, while mistakes and errors and fault findings is Virgo. So we will have a lot of these mistakes and errors coming up as well. But it's much more important if we focus on our own mistakes and errors, and to find our qualities and virtues amongst those mistakes and errors. But so instead of finding those mistakes in others and feeling somehow better because of it, let's focus on our own. Let's focus on how we feel because of that. How do we feel when we see those faults and mistakes in others? Why is that triggering something uncomfortable in me? or anything, or something sweet in me, maybe. Because some people, they also have these kinds of feelings when they notice that others are also imperfect. Perfection, Virgo, finding perfection. So when somebody notices that somebody else is not perfect, but they thought they were, they are like, so they still are not perfect as I thought. So, feeling better because of it. So let's remove from those kinds of feelings and thoughts and that kind of perception. Let's try to focus on how it makes us feel. What is that triggering within me? So we may feel as things are turning upside down. There is a lot of revision, reviewing, reevaluation, reassessment, recapitulation, reconsideration, everything that begins with with RE, because we have Venus and Mercury retrograde. Two personal planets are retrograde during this time. Mercury just began its retrograde journey on the 23rd of August and will be retrograde until the 15th of September, but it will stay in the post-retrograde shadow until somewhere 29th or 30th September. So we have to be careful and aware of our words, because there is a great possibility of misunderstanding, confusion, miscommunications, misinterpretations. We may hear something in a wrong way, or we may interpret something in the wrong way, and especially around the time of this full moon, when Pisces can also trigger some kind of mental fog and confusion, and emotional confusion as well, and emotional flooding, and we may have huge emotional bursts and reactions. So that is why it's very important to have some time for ourselves to meditate, to contemplate, to be in nature, to breathe, to be instead of do, to understand that being is also doing. We don't have to only do. We can sometimes allow ourselves that luxury of being. And because it's truly a luxury, because when we are in that state of being, we receive our riches and abundance. And there is a lot of need for devotion. We have to be devoted to something. So the question is, what are we devoted to? Because the things that we are devoted to are telling us about our life and our projections in the world, about what we do and how we live. And we are now challenged to be the best that we can be. And this Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde in Leo, this can also, bring some things to light. Again, some things from the past. People from the past may show up in order for us to go through some kind of forgiveness process as well, because of this Pisces full moon and Venus and Mercury retrograde. We will have a possibility to finish some unfinished business, to receive some new chances, second chances for some things, to make things right, to make things work this time, to fix something, to correct something, to make something work now, or to finally let go, to finally say, I'm done with this, I'm out of this, this is not doing anything anymore for me. And we are now understanding that everyone has their own path. So it's, there is time for everything, time for getting together and time for being separate. And Pisces talks about union and separation, both. And there is time for uniting, there is time for separating. And we have to learn to honor these cycles and these processes, these natural laws. And Pisces is very mystical and mysterious sign, the most mystical, probably the most misunderstood. And it talks about unconditional love and us being all one, belonging to one great organism that we are all part of. And it's talking about being about us being all one, but also being all different and diverse. This is Virgo, discernment, and Pisces, unity and oneness. So we have unity and oneness and need for discernment. So we have to understand that yes, we are all one, but we are also all unique and individual expressions of that greater divine intelligence. And we are understanding that there is a divine plan behind everything that is happening. There is definitely a divine plan, and everything is perfect just as it is. But we have to clear our filters, we have to clean our lenses, we have to clean our perception and perspective, because that's the thing that is not perfect, our perception. And it's good because we are becoming better because of those imperfections, because those imperfections are challenging us to work better, to be better, to improve ourselves, because Virgo is about self-improvement, self-development, and Pisces is about transcendence, spiritual awakening, getting deep down to the bottom of the thing. So we have now this ability to truly go and sink down to the very bottom of our being, to reach the depth of that ocean, and to understand that there is this big ocean, and we are like waves or drops, as you know. And but these waves, when air moves them, the sea changes and it turns into waves, but then again it comes back and it belongs to the ocean. So each wave may be in illusion that it is one and separate from others, because it's above the level and it's detached from the rest of the sea, but it still belongs to the sea and it comes back into the sea. So the same is with us. We have illusion of being separate, and we identify with our personalities, but we forget our true essence. And then when the time comes, we are again a part of that bigger ocean, the bigger picture. So we are now understanding this bigger picture, but not everyone and not in the same way. So we may be faced with a lot of personal illusions and delusions, disillusionments, and this is the revelation of the dance that is happening between union and separation. And there is direct and experiential connection with life and with spirit. But this spiritual delusionment and confusion can be very strong. And this is something that is actually growing a lot. We have a lot of how can I say, like a mental hypnosis when it comes to understanding of spirituality. And doing external things is not what makes us spiritual. We can, I saw somewhere a very good post, no matter how many spiritual tattoos you have, or how many crystals you wear, or how many meditations you do a day, or whatever the spiritual kind of thing is nowadays, whatever is modern spirituality about, it's not what it's making you spiritual. Because if you still have that rage in your heart and you are not able to face your subconscious fears, not able to process those deep emotional floods, not able, if we are continuously hiding and escaping and running away into addictive behaviors, even if that is spiritual behavior, if we are addicted to that and if we are doing it only in order to escape what we have to escape, then it's still not good. It's still the same trick of this material realm. So there are a lot of tricks, and we will be becoming more and more aware of these tricks. And we may feel like we are playing hide and seek with ourselves and with our emotions, but let's play this hide and seek. Let's not be afraid of getting in the darkness to find those crucial moments of our suppressed and hidden traumas and fears, because they will be bubbling up. And it can be disturbing, it can be challenging, but it's what's necessary. It's the only way to walk through the fire. And we have to feel this energy. So it's very important to understand that we are all individuals with special functions, just as we have different parts of the body, and each part of the body has different function, but together they all build one whole organism. So is true for each of us. We are all individuals with special functions, unique functions, but together we all create the collective, and then we have the image that we see. So that is how the collective unconscious creates this expressed reality that we are witnessing. So we are initiated into this kind of relationship with something that is bigger than ourselves, and we may feel that we may feel as an individual fragment, but we may also understand that we are whole. We are whole as we are, but we are also parts of the bigger whole. And there is this need to create something that is eternal, that is not able to dissolve. But whatever is able to dissolve, let it dissolve. Whatever is fresh for being dissolved, don't try to hold it, don't try to stop it, because we have to align, adjust, and adapt to this kind of new situation that we may find ourselves in. And we have to bring that wisdom, bring that balance, bring that harmony and resurrection to our bodies, through our bodies, into the lives of others. And this is about us putting ourselves in the shoes of others, being able to truly put ourselves in the shoes of others and see where are others coming from. We have to listen. This is about the power of communication, not only verbal communication, but our mental communication, our energetic communication, how others perceive us and how do we perceive others. Those energetic connections will be strong because Mercury is retrograde and this energy is more turned inward, so we may not be able to express ourselves verbally as we would want. So that is why this can create a lot of frustration and irritation as well. And we are mystery to ourselves. We truly can understand now that the greatest and the highest mystery in life is the human being. And especially it's about who am I. That is the greatest mystery, and all other mysteries, all the philosophy, all the religion, everything that has ever been written or experimented with or whatever researched, investigated, has been about being a human being. It's always been about the mystery of life and death. And these kinds of mysteries are now being revealed in some way. So the gates into the unknown territory is being opened, and we are now initiated into that kind of mystery, where we can see that we are the greatest mystery to ourselves, and we have to do our investigation. We have to be introspective. We have to allow ourselves to be in solitude for some time, to be able to just listen to the sounds of nature, to connect with nature, to connect with ourselves, to try to put off devices for at least one day. Try not to use them at all. That is very challenging, I know, very, very challenging, but let's try to do it at least, some couple of hours. Let's try to do it on that day of the full moon. Let's experiment and let's see what will come up, because when we don't use these kinds of distractions, we may see some things coming up from the depths of our being. We may see some uncomfortable emotional triggers, some uncomfortable thoughts, but this is what we have to confront. And we may see this better once we put off our devices and distractions and our entertainment, our addictions. We are also facing our addictions, as I said, so this can be disturbing, but let's accept everything that comes now because it's ready for healing. It means that is ready for healing and it is ready to be dissolved. And just when we think we know who we are, just when we think we know ourselves, something happens that just surprises us, or it's like a cold shower, and we have to just say, okay, some things are not in my control. I'm definitely not in control of this. I definitely have to ask for forgiveness from my higher self. I have to surrender. I have to ask for help. And sometimes that is why it's sometimes good to go into some kind of extreme where we feel overwhelmed, oversensitive, where we feel like we are breaking, the ice is breaking, the flood is coming, we are drowning, we have nothing to hold on to. These things are good because this is when we, get down on our knees and pray. And this is when we can surrender. These are the moments when we start asking these deeper questions, those bigger questions like, who am I? What kind of sense? Where is the meaning of all of this? What is the meaning of all of this? What is happening? When we are faced with something that is too painful or too absurd or just too much for processing, that is when the shift is happening. That is when the awakening is happening. That is when we are being pushed further into that inner abundance. And we may go through some kind of mystical experience, either through our dreams or in our awakened world. So we are exploring our desires, and this can be a dangerous territory, exploring our desires, but we have to do it now. There is no turning back, so we have to go there. And we may see that we have been in some kind of self-denial, but we may see that we are continuously putting ourselves in that self-denial mode. We are somehow hypnotized. We are like, it is like a living in the magician's trick. Like we are living in the magician's dream. And we have to wake up from that, and we have to see that we can have a dream that is nightmare, as I said, or we can have a dream that is beautiful. But whatever it is, let's try not to be seduced by either of these sides. Let's try to be aware of both, but not attached to any. That would be the highest expression of the Pisces archetype. And we may be asking ourselves, how are we arming ourselves? How am I arming myself? What am I doing to myself, and why? Where is this masochism coming from? Why am I sacrificing myself too much? Or why am I criticizing so much? Why am I blaming so much? Why am I judging so much? Why do I feel judged? Why do I feel criticized? Why do I feel bad because of it? Why do I feel down because of it? Why do I feel ashamed? Why do I have a need to make others feel ashamed? And all these possibilities, like no matter which type you are, this is again the same root cause of these emotional blockages, triggers, stiffness that has to break. The ice is breaking, as I said. And we are now creating a safety zone. But we have to create this safe zone by walking through that ice while it's breaking. And even if we fall, let's fall and surrender. We have to fall. We have to see what it's inside. If we want to bring that inner abundance, because it's hidden right there in those icebergs. And we have an ability to bring in some new kind of lifestyle, new healthy habits, new healthy routines, and we will have this special opportunity. We are helped because of this Mercury retrograde in Virgo, and because we have new moon in Virgo in 2 weeks, so we have a lot of support and help to really keep our promises that we give to ourselves. We can keep this promise that we will stay on the track, that we will respect our healthy routines and habits, but let's not become obsessed with them either. Let's not become obsessed with our health. Let's try to just be, as I said, because this Pisces is giving us now opportunity to rest, to relax, to do things that, just massage our nervous system. This is like giving our nervous system a massage. So whatever it is for each of us, let's do those things where we feel like we are truly being relaxed, where we can rest, where we feel safe, because it's very necessary if we want to have a true need to be healthy, not because we know it's good for us, but because we feel that need, like this is it, I have to do it now. If I don't do it now, who knows if I will ever get a chance to do it again. So it can be worse or better for each of us depending on our personal situations, but for some people it will be dealing with their addictions, and it will be about making a strong decision about, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to stick to my decision. I'm going to keep the promise to myself. I am going to do things that are good for me from now on, and it's starting now. And I'm putting myself in this position where I surrender and I trust. I trust life, I trust the process, and I'm going to do best to cooperate with that. I won't make it harder anymore for my higher self to cooperate with me. I'm going to make it easier. So there is some kind of inner stability and inner strength growing now, but it's happening through this kind of dark initiation. This could be like a dark night of the soul for some of us, but it will also be a new dawn at the same time. So one cannot happen without the other. So we are reinventing ourselves and understanding that everything that we use as external tool for help is an extension of our inner being. So it will work in alignment with our inner intentions. So for example, if we use astrology, tarot cards, crystals, if we contact some medium, if we do some channeling, if we search for some kind of help from parapsychologists, all those kinds of things are extensions from our inner world. So it is always a message from our inner self. It is not something outside of ourselves. So we are also we are that message itself. We are the message and the messenger at the same time. And we are the crystal as well. We are actually liquid crystals, us human beings. And that is why crystals have such a good connection with human beings and such strong influence. So all these things behave in accordance and in alignment with what we carry within ourselves. And it can be very, very emotional and sensitive, very psychic sensitivity. It's a culmination. And our nervous system will be very sensitive as well. That is why it's important to withdraw, to be in solitude, to be in silence, to be in nature, to do things that help us rest and relax. And we may be hypersensitive and reactive. So there is some kind of karmic habit that we have to outgrow, and we are searching for this kind of karmic medicine now. And some of us may be visited by our ancestors in dreams, and we may receive messages from our ancestors, or we may connect with our ancestors in many ways, because Pisces and the 12th house is very much related to ancestors and our past lives, which are not necessarily in the past, but they are called like this because these lives can happen in different timelines, because time is not linear, it's spiral, and it's coming and going in cycles. And we are understanding now that we complicate things only when we don't understand them. But the goal here is peace, Pisces, peacefulness. And it's a lot about introverted energy. And we are asked to be more in the state of reflection than in the state of action. And it's about our self-knowledge. But our ability to communicate effectively is a little bit disturbed. But this is good, because this is actually giving us new alternative paths, because these are alternative journeys, alternative roads, alternative directions that we have to use now. We have to find those alternative ways, and they will be opening up. We have to go within and explore our consciousness. But the antidote for all our illusions and fantasies and division is humility. So we will be reminded of the qualities of humility and of becoming pure and what it means to be pure. Virgo is about purity and purging and cleansing and healing. So this will be a lot about our mental, emotional, and physical purity, and we will be working on this for quite some time more, because September also Virgo season started, and it lasts until the 20-something September, 23rd September, and we have Mercury in Virgo and this full moon in Pisces opposing Virgo. So very, very important to keep ourselves mentally, emotionally, and physically pure in order to reach that kind of peacefulness and joy that we want in life, which is about freedom from being attached to any of those projections, whether they are beautiful or scary. Let's try not to be attached to either of those. We can understand that we are all dreamers. We are all dreamers. So what kind of dream are we dreaming now? What am I dreaming about? What are you dreaming about? What are we dreaming about? And what kind of world are we creating? Because we are the co-creators, the visionaries, artists, poets, musicians, dreamers, wizards. This is all in the Pisces realm. And these are flowing states. We are flowing. So channeling, getting deep into meditation mode, not because we want to escape reality, but because we want to face what we have been suppressing. We want to rise above the polarity game. And this can be done also through painting or through writing, through journaling, through astral projection. But let's not do it on force. Let's not force anything to happen. Let's not force awakening. Let's not force astral projection. Let's not force any kind of thing. Let's allow things to happen naturally in their own time, in their own cycle. And addictive patterns will become visible. So we will have a lot of work to do. Virgo, a lot of work to do. And Virgo is also about hard work and devotion and caring. So we have to integrate all those manifestations and expressions of Pisces and Virgo during this time. Unconditional love and self-love, very much connected and important. Virgo and Pisces. Pisces, unconditional love. Virgo is service to others. And it's about the perfection. And love is perfection. So let's all focus on love, because love is truly perfection, like a state of being. And it can lead us into that state of unconditional love that we feel from the inside, which doesn't mean that we go outside on the street and run like crazy and tell to everyone that we love them. This is about ourselves being in that state of being and not allowing things to hurt us that have nothing to do with us. But we will see what we are strongly identified with. And that is why those things hurt us, because we are identified with them, we are attached to them, we allow ourselves to get attached to those projections, whether they are beautiful or scary, and then we feel hurt, and then we fall into this same magician's dream trick, and we get hypnotized. So we are now getting into those depths, those stories of ourselves, of understanding that particles are connected, and we are all different particles, we are all pieces of the puzzle, and we are creating this bigger picture. And our past is also has its own entity. Our past is also like a personality. So our past is also that particle that is connected with everything, that is also the piece of our own personal puzzle. So there is the puzzle in the collective, but there is a puzzle in our individual life, our personal puzzle. So we are collecting those particles of our life. We are pieces, the pieces of the life, pieces of the life that we have lived and that we live and that we will live may become very evident and visible to us, and we are able to integrate them into the whole. And this full moon is really inviting us to feel the feelings and to surrender to the flow of our emotions. And there is potential for profound healing. And as we find acceptance and forgiveness for all the wrongdoings that we have done to ourselves and to others, there is a lot of emotional clarity that is happening because of that. And it can be a very busy time because this is Virgo season, so we are, back to the work, back to the business. But this Pisces full moon, it says not yet. There is something you have to do first. You have to look within, you have to surrender, you have to dive deep, you have to do this in order to be able to do your work consistently, responsibly, and in a devoted way. So we are improving ourselves on all levels, and we may become so much aware of our inadequacies and our imperfections, and this can also bring out the side of us that is worrying too much and that tends to overanalyze, to analyze every little detail, to every single emotional shift that is happening. And we can create the mountain out of a molehill. So let's also be aware of this. But this full moon is actually and eventually truly inviting us to be kind to ourselves and to find a greater sense of peace and acceptance of what is. We are invited to calm down our busy minds, and we will see how busy they can get, so that this worry and anxiety can dissolve, and we may see it dissolving. But when it's dissolving, it can feel like something is burning, and it may feel like a physical pain too. And some of us may feel like something is burning, and we may feel a need for water, for something to cool us down, for this moment of groundedness and coolness, earth and water. So we need both now, and it's very good if we can do something with earth and water, if we can be near water, and if we can do something with the soil on the ground. These kinds of things will help us tremendously, and doing anything with water, all kinds of things with water, where we can truly feel the connection of water and our skin and its healing effect on ourselves. So this is an ability to allow things to unfold as they will, trusting that all is as it should be. And Virgo part likes to pick everything apart, and it can be quite critical, and everything needs to be planned. And Pisces, on the other hand, helps us find true compassion and empathy, with the ability to put ourselves in the shoes of others and accept them for all that they are. So we may feel this push and pull energy between Virgo and Pisces expressions, and it can be an extremely cleansing full moon. But if we allow those emotions to flow and to clear us out, so that we can move forward with with a lot of easier and lighter energy. We may feel lighter. You know, our boundaries may not be very strong, so let's be careful with our boundaries too. This tsunami of emotion can be very overwhelming. So that is why I'm again saying it's very important to be able to stay grounded and centered, whatever comes. And if tsunami comes, don't resist, you know. And when whatever it is, if you feel like you are in the middle of the whirlpool and it's pulling you down under, don't resist, don't reject it, just let it pull you down under, and then you will be able to fly from the depth to the surface directly. And you know, we are encouraged to slow down with this Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, so it will be easier for us to be in that solitude, to do the inner work, to feel the mystery of who we are, to dive deeper into those questions, to go back over the old ground, revisiting and reviewing all that we have gone through in, you know, the past couple of years or decades or lives. And this is time for retrospection and reflection. And we can look again and see what we might have missed, what is still missing, what am I still dealing with, what are those subconscious fears that I'm still carrying and repeating. And we can see things from another point of view now, and we can gain understanding that we didn't have before. So this is about things that are infinite, Pisces. We can have deeper experience of the unseen, and this is our final stage. The Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, the final stage of life. It can also be seen in that way, the last stage of a certain chapter also. So we have to enter the transpersonal arena of reality and to leave logic and thinking behind and return to our source. This is the invitation of this full moon. So we enter the mystery zone, the zone of the unknown. And we have to, you know, explore that which is unseen. We are invited now into that subconscious realm. That is like 90% of our whole consciousness. It is all consciousness, but we only have like maximum 10% of ability to see what is there. And the rest is hidden. The rest is in the shadow. The rest is the dirty work that we have to do. The rest is, you know, that cold iceberg that is unseen and that is now breaking. So this Pisces is now taking us into that mystical quantum physics journey, that world where everything is fluid and connected. And this is the dream world and the primal world of emotions and instincts. And that we have to, there is this kind of possibility for overstimulation, because this is also altered states and being under the influence, using substances, using medicaments, using all kinds of things just to run away into the just to be unconscious, just to be unaware. This kind of extreme can be also very strong, using drugs, alcohol, all these kinds of things, sweets also, refined sugar, anything that numb us down, anything that will just make us forget. Video games, too much workout, obsession with health, obsession with eating healthy, all these kinds of things are actually avoiding the true issue, avoiding everything, because using those things and being addicted is not the problem, because there is a problem that caused these addictions. There is the problem that led us towards those addictions. So what is that problem? Where is it? And maybe we may see that the problem doesn't really exist, that the problem was just our illusion, that the problem was there only because of our illusion of separation and our inability to see the bigger picture, our strong identification and attachment to what is beautiful and what is scary at the same time. And we are invited by this Pisces full moon into the unseen, mysterious realm of meditation and dreaming. And many of us will feel this invitation very strongly. We may feel and hear those intuitive whispers, and we may hear them in our dreams also. And the Pisces zone is filled with spiritual gifts, so we are able to let go, to surrender, to trust, to forgive, and to live in a bit more humble gratitude mode. So we are not in control, and we don't want to be in control. This kind of state is something that we can reach now. We are in love with love and relate, and we beautifully relate to the unseen. We are not afraid of it. This kind of state is what we want to reach, to be able to say, I am not in control and I don't want to be in control. And if we feel that others are trying to control us, and if we are afraid of others controlling us, it's great to see that whoever has a need to control someone is actually carrying a lot of weakness and pain and hurt. Because why would anyone who is strong and self-assured and self-confident want to control anybody else? The one who is truly rooted in himself or herself will never try to control anyone. So let's have understanding for all those different manifestations of traumas and vulnerabilities and weaknesses and wounds. But let's honor our space, and let's honor our freedom and our ability to choose time for ourselves, time for everything else. It really takes a disciplined effort and life experience to get to those higher expressions of Pisces, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. And around the time of this full moon, it becomes much more possible to feel that oneness with the infinite, to feel the oneness with everything that there is, to let go of the need to be perfect, to let go of the need to tell others how to live, to let go of the need to prove your point, to let go of the need to fight something, to resist something, to just surrender, to say, what happens, happens. I trust life, I trust process, I trust myself, and just feel the flow of being, and understanding that being is also doing. Because when we are in touch with the unconscious, we can produce great work. We know this because we see this in all artistic works. But we can also get pulled under into some kind of dissolution and madness. That is why it's very important to know that some things we cannot do all by ourselves. We don't know everything. We don't have answer to everything. And sometimes we have to surrender to this higher power. And this is that kind of time. And if we deny the power of nature, the nature can become dangerous too. If we are unaware and unconscious of what nature does, we can get hurt by nature. So the same is true for everything else. When we are unaware of its function and how it works, if we deny its reality and its power, you know, these things can erupt as delusions, escapisms, addictions, and self-destructiveness. So we may face our own self-destructive modes as well. And the dark side of the Pisces is that darkest part of the collective unconscious, which is that chaotic sea monster that I mention many times when I talk about Pisces. This sea monster that devours life. And we may face this kind of monster within ourselves now, or through the collective projection, through our inner projections into the collective as well. This Leviathan sea monster can also visit us in our dreams. I always have to mention also it's possible in dreams, because many times we just say, oh, it's a dream and it doesn't matter. Oh, it was just a dream. But that just a dream has also very special message for each of us. It's our subconscious speaking to us. So let's not dismiss it as something that is not valid, because it's very valid. And we may feel now that we are struggling between the transcendence and destructiveness. And we may feel this, strong, like, magnetizing energy and strong energy of separation, union and separation. And this is why it's very important to have open hands and to serve with compassion whatever comes, whatever fear may come, let it come, and trust the process. Trust it. Don't run away, don't escape. See your addictions. Let's see our addictions. Let's see our attachments. Let's see our detachments too. Let's see what is beautiful for us, what is scary for us, and where we feel the strong need for rejection and strong need for connection. And I wouldn't say anything else for this full moon in Pisces. I think I've said more than enough. I don't want to flood you with information. Let's allow ourselves to dive with this emotional flood and to trust our life and trust the process and trust cycles. Love you all. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.